Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Friday, October 25th, 2024. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first two cards in our 5-card spread for today? First two card we are starting our day off with today is our 9 of Cups in its reversal in combination with our 8 of Cups in its reversal. What are we effectively seeing right now? We have just moved into Scorpio season. There's a lot of energetic unpacking that is happening right now, especially because, I need to describe this, we've had this like double whammy. We had the eclipse, then we had the Mars full moon, and now we're in Scorpio season. So it's like bam, bam, bam. So a big expansion point that we experienced, right? And then navigating through frustration, all of that frustration that arose or came up in the process of navigating so much of that eclipse. All of it coming to a head when we reach that energy of Mars. Working through that, what was a big lesson that we saw that was occurring during that Mars full moon cycle? Finding a way to productively channel spaces and places of energetic frustration. We see even now a lot of that work being facilitated coming into Scorpio season, and it's all about redistribution. It's all about moving those things into positive, productive spaces and places. This is difficult. This is hard. It's challenging because for a lot of the energy, taking a different approach to something right now, it feels a little uncertain because you haven't necessarily done it before. But what do we see in the space of doing something in a way that one hasn't done it before? It allows for the potentiality of a breakthrough. Now, for this is having a different impact depending on where we find ourselves in the frequency cycles. For masculine and feminine energy, in separation, so much of this work that we're seeing even now is recognizing, I see a lot of energy right now in separation, identifying the fact that they've closed an energetic cycle specifically by means of recognizing the way that they're speaking towards something. Specifically by means of recognizing the way that they're speaking towards something. And for a lot of that energy, doing that work, it's hard. It's difficult. And particularly because what occurs in that moment of speaking towards something, it articulates and it amplifies the effective recognition point of something that you could not see or would not allow oneself to see at the point that you were inhabiting a space or place in the past. I see it even now. Like there's a lot of that work that's effectively occurring here with energy, having those conversations, forging those new connections. And in the process of identifying and articulating that, speaking towards the limitations that prevented an energetic connection coming to a fruition. This isn't energy that is saying what happened in the past and someone being like, I don't want to talk about it. This is like the energy that's saying, no, I'm happy talking about it. It's fine. And even there, I see a lot of that energy saying, it's not ideal, but it's easier and it's good to get it off my chest. So we see that for so much of that work, being able to inhabit that space, it's cathartic, right? It's empowering. But it also, I want to say, there's a lot of closure that's happening in that space. And that closure, it sometimes can feel energetically overwhelming because I can see even now that a lot of that energy and separation, recognizing the way that you describe something, I feel like that's energy that's getting even more clarity in the process of doing so. Like that's what we see with a lot of that energetic unpacking. Now, for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, a lot of that energy coming into divine union right now. This is the energy that is recognizing and identifying the breakthrough And what is difficult about identifying the breakthrough? In order to have a breakthrough, this is energy that is recognizing a blockage that is allowing for a breakthrough, right? Seeing something in a way allows for productivity in terms of how to navigate. You got to see what the hurdle is in order to navigate. So we see that for a lot of that energy right now, that's why we were describing that so much of this work here is that sense or space of saying to someone, how are things going? And they're smiling and they're saying awful, because this is the energy that says, we've identified what that problem is in the partnership. We've identified what that difficulty is or that hurdle. And we're taking new approaches in terms of navigating it, right? And this is the energy that recognizes and identifies that coming into partnership isn't perfect, but it's that conviction in finding a way to overcome an energetic hurdle that's defining a lot of these connections right now. They're being fortified upon it. They're being strengthened through it. And that brings us to a lot of the energy deep within divine union. That frustration point that we see that is happening for a lot of the energy deep within divine union is navigating the priorities of partnership over the expectations of those around an energetic partnership. I can just see even now that a lot of that energy doing that work, it feels frustrating, particularly and especially if this is the energy that is doing that work in order to make those energetic changes. I can kind of see that some of that redistribution, if you will, that's occurring here is the energy that is basically articulating and saying to one another, like, I want to say it's a lot of that managing of expectations. And what's nice about that is the counterparts, if they're going through any of those circumstances or situations that feel like they're hard, that feel like they're difficult, what are the energies providing one another in the context of the partnership? New perspectives, new ideas, new ways to circumvent or go around something. So we see even now that for a lot of that energetic work, it isn't easy, but I want to say it's creative. It's definitely, it's like creative approaches is what I'm seeing more than anything. Center card for our 5-card spread for today is, we've got here our King of Pentacles in its reversal. Now, masculine and feminine energy, deep within divine union. So much of this, I want to say so much of this work that we're seeing that's being facilitated right now is, I want to amplified and articulated by, I want to say, the sense or the space of masculine. This is a bit of the struggle point for the masculine energy right now, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. We were speaking a lot about yesterday, because I need to stress this. A couple of days ago, we recognized that there was feminine. We had remember all of those feminine cards that we saw in its reversal? A lot of the feminine energy expressing the energetic frustration, right? Like articulating upon it. And a lot of that frustration that we saw that the feminine was expressing had to do with the feeling of managing the energetic expectations of those around the feminine, right? If this is feminine energy that feels that need that everyone is kind of approaching the feminine and asking for some other like aspect of the feminine, there's a lot of this feminine energy that is almost trying to like have that moment. That's why all of those cards were in frustration, in energetic recall, saying, I'm not necessarily in a space of feeling that need to occupy one's own perception of the self, right? This is a lot of the feminine energy saying, feeling that, having that frustration in relationality of having to kind of move into different, like, being different things for different people can often create that sense for feminine of feeling like they're not being seen along the way, right? So a lot of that feminine energy expressing that frustration point of feeling that sense of trying to move towards their own sense of self, and the journey feeling less like, as the feminine energy moves towards energetic achievement, it feels more like it's characterized by the feminine feeling like they're experiencing the disappointment of others along the way as they navigate the trajectory of the self, right? Masculine seeing that on the part of the feminine and holding a lot of energetic space for it, because that is almost something that is not characterized so much in the aspect of the masculine journey. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. The masculine moving more into that space of being able to follow their highest journey of self is one that is almost given that point or space of admiration. So we see even now that for a lot of that energy, having that modality, seeing, masculine, seeing that burden that the feminine energetically carries and holding space for it, it's frustrating for masculine, because that's the masculine that feels that frustration point in not being able to do something energetically about it, right? It's out. It's like, it's not something that is within the masculine energy's own personified power to be able to energetically fix. And this is why we see that the gift that the energy is giving one another is in the presence of holding that space for each other. Because if this is the masculine that says, I wish I could do more, and the feminine says, you already do, what is the gift that the counterparts are giving one another at this time? They're saying, you are the energetic exception to the rule. You're not coming towards me with the amplification of what you desire of me, but rather allowing one to be my highest version of self. This is the gift that the counterparts give one another, because they come towards one another surrendering expectation, right? While for masculine and feminine energy that's coming into divine union, this is a lot of the energy coming into divine union, recontextualizing what makes a vital partnership. I see even now that a lot of that energy potentially, and I want to say for masculine, that breakthrough point, it may be like a bit disarming, because we see that for a lot of the masculine energy, if this was masculine that said, oh, I thought I just always had to be strong to come into partnership. I thought I had to be in that modality where I was like, I was not vulnerable. I was not open. I thought I just had to be this like rigid rock in order to be able to facilitate partnership. There's a lot of this energy right now of masculine that's healing coming into divine union, specifically and particularly by finding that the partnership is the space where the masculine doesn't have to be hard, where the masculine doesn't have to be energetically strong, where the masculine can just like shed those energetic layers. And in the shedding of those energetic layers, building into that space of intimacy with feminine, this is the masculine that is feeling that easement point, because they're healing the inner child in the process, right? And that journey is difficult, because a lot of that journey, I told you, of the masculine taking what feels like an internalized process and bringing it outwards, it can feel just it creates a lot of vulnerability. But what is the feminine doing for the masculine right now doing this work? Feminine is expressing that patience, right? And having those emotions that don't, the emotions that you don't subject the masculine to the emotions, but rather coming into that space of being able to articulate upon them. This is the energy of the feminine that kind of puts their arms around masculine and says, this is a safe place for you to be your vulnerable self. Your vulnerability is a gift that I honor and cherish. So we see even now a lot of that energy doing some very deep healing as they come into divine union. It's heavy work though, because for a lot of the feminine energy experiencing that with masculine, there's some profound closure that is occurring along the way. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, in separation, I just see even now a lot of this work, a lot of the similar work that we see that was happening within divine union is happening in separation. Potentially feminine and masculine articulating about the limitations of what they've experienced thus far, and it's frustrating. For feminine, that may be articulating about the difference between a masculine that may say that they desire energetic partnership, but didn't have the rigor to be able to stick around when things got difficult. Instead moving away when things got difficult instead of coming closer, right? For masculine, potentially articulating to feminine that desire to build with feminine and having those modalities of masculine wanting to fulfill the feminine energy's needs, but needing the feminine to be consistent in relationality to what those needs are. So we see even now, there's a lot of vulnerability for the energy and separation because there's a lot of trepidation. But that trepidation is actually a healing sign, because these are the energies that are saying to one another that they don't go into things haphazardly. They're protecting their heart space in the process. Second two cards in our 5-card spread, before we get clarification on these cards right now, we've got here our 10 of Cups in its upright. We've got 2 cards here in combination with our 5 of Wands in its reversal, in combination with our 5 of Swords in its reversal. So there's a lot of peace. There's a lot of making peace with things right now. Like really, really making peace. And what's nice about this is I see that a lot of the energy and separation, looking back on something that may have brought a more frustration to you in the perception of looking back on it, and instead navigating it with a sense of feeling energetically at peace with something, right? Because when we don't want to energetically return to something, we make peace with it, because that's that sense or that space of acceptance in relationality to where you energetically left something. So we see even now that there's a lot of this energy and separation that is working towards making peace with the past in the process of building new energetic connections going forward. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is coming into divine union. A lot of this work that we're seeing right now coming into divine union, this is a lot of the energy coming into divine union that is finding more peaceable ways of navigating energetic conflict in partnership. It's not easy when you do that. It feels like an energetic struggle. It's a paradox, because when you're learning ways of peacefully resolving something, it feels energetically volatile. It feels counter-oppositional. This is the energy that feels that frustration point, and at the same time as feeling the energetic frustration point, says something is working, like something is being navigated here. Something is like reaching those breakthrough points. Why do they feel like something is reaching a breakthrough point? Because something hard is getting easier. For masculine, it's being able to be more energetically vulnerable to build into a healthy connection. For feminine, it is not taking the vulnerability of the masculine personally. Having that sense of feeling the gift of the masculine that's able to come into that space of vulnerability that feels like a gift. And in the process of receiving that, it's requiring the feminine to change their context of the past in profound ways. For the energy deep within divine union right now, I just see a lot of the energy within divine union working very tirelessly, all for the sake of the ability to prioritize ease and rest going forward. Like, this is the energy. Sometimes you just got to crank it. And so we see right now that a lot of that work, and I have to say a lot of that frustration has to do, it's hitting the masculine and feminine in different ways. Bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For feminine right now, it's just, I want to say this, I told you, this is why all of those reversed feminine cards to a certain extent were actually good, because this is a little bit of the feminine. I got to say, there's a little bit of this feminine energy right now. It's almost in that modality of saying, like, look, if everything I do isn't going to please anybody, I'm just going to do whatever I want. Like, there's a lot of that energy of the feminine being like, if nothing I can do feels like it satisfies the archetypes that others are putting towards the feminine, this is the feminine saying, I am undefinable. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And whatever and however, because if that's the feminine saying, no matter what I do, it never feels like it's energetically enough. The feminine saying, I'm not going to sit there and work and try to build towards others' expectations, because it feels like something that is continually it's a continual, like that's why we see so much of the feminine healing from setting their standard towards others' expectations of them, because it feels like it is untenable. While for masculine, a lot of that work that we see right now is masculine. I want to say kind of like saying to feminine, like, you're validated in feeling that. You're validated in feeling that. There's a lot of that authenticity that I told you that was happening for the energy in separation that's now rising up for the energy that's deep within divine union. Because that's a masculine that looks towards feminine and says, I feel for you. Because masculine's often driven to be undefinable, whereas feminine has more of that path work that feels like when they try to move into that space of undefinable, everybody's always saying to them, you're doing it wrong. Now, continuing to get clarification between our 9 of Cups in its reversal in combination with our 8 of Cups in its reversal. It's a little bit of regressive, energy today. I'm just going to state this. It's going to feel like I need to stress this. Like some days it feels like we go backwards instead of going forward. There's a little bit of this energetic regress today. I'm only saying that because we've got this 9-8 situation happening here. But this is positive. This is because these are they're in their reversals. It feels corrective. It feels clarifying. Can I get one card to clarify, please? We've got here our 3 of Cups in its upright. This feels like this feels like a lot of energy right now, deep within divine union, making sure to bring clarity to situations or circumstances. I'm just going to say this here. I see a lot of this energy here, like working through something to a certain extent. And I can kind of see there like a little bit of that vibration in relationality to, I just keep hearing like clarity, like let's be clear about something, or let's clear the air. There's something really important about this here, that feels, particularly for a lot of the energy in divine union, like I almost see that observational point in being able to articulate upon something in such a way that, and I want to say this too, like this here is why we see so much of the energy within divine union that doesn't necessarily get reactive towards things, because this is a lot of that energy that I'm seeing is just like prioritizing and focusing on what feels like it is positive, like what feels like it is productive. Like I just see a lot of that energy within divine union. I kind of want to say it's like a no drama zone, like no drama allowed, like there's a lot of this, like, it's like, I feel like this is the energy, like I could really see a lot of this energy, like within divine union being like, if it's drama, I'll just kind of pass on it. Like just moving away from anything that feels like it's energetically dramatic, because I told you, when you're moving with purpose, when you've got priority, you don't have time. Like, do you know how indulgent it feels to do you know how indulgent drama feels? Like, do you know, like it, how exhaustively indulgent it feels to navigate energetic drama? Because it feels like it doesn't have purpose. Like that's the energy. And I can kind of see the energy right now within divine union. If something feels like it's dramatic, they're like, beep. They just like step away from it because they're like, what? While for masculine and feminine energy, coming into divine union, this is a lot of that energy. This is the breakthrough because they're removing drama. They're removing drama from the partnership. That's what's happening. They're removing drama from the partnership, because when we work on those spaces and places of building into intimacy, what we basically do is we remove the feeling or the need to have the drama within our energetic relationship, because the drama becomes a barrier, right? It's a drama is like the overindulgence in the personal journey to a certain extent, right? So we see that for a lot of that energy, doing that work, like facilitating forward in that point, this is the energy that is almost coming into that space of recognizing their own blockages, specifically and particularly because this is the energy that wants to remove the drama within the self, right? Like, this is the energy that says, like, keep it out there, like put it on the screen. I'm not going to have it internally, right? This is the energy being like, I don't feel like I don't need to have it in here. I can just have it out there. There's plenty of it out there. And so this is a lot of that energy working right now on the partnership to create a drama-free environment, right? And that's that peace that we give one another. And so if these are the modalities of someone feeling that sense of, like, or explosiveness or eruptiveness, those triggers that move you away from something when it gets difficult, instead just learning to inhabit that space, what's amazing about it is this is actually the energy that's learning to navigate that volatility within in a way that overcomes the ability or need to externalize it without. It's not that it isn't still there, but this is the energy that's learning to navigate things more effectively. It's hard to find peace. What did you just think? Did you stop feeling things? No. You don't stop feeling anything. It's just how you carry it, right? I told you, redistribution. Continuing for the energy right now, in separation, all this energy that I'm seeing here, this is why the energy in separation is moving with so much trepidation, because I told you, energy that prioritizes peace fears energetic drama, right? And when you fear energetic drama, you work very conscientiously and carefully to build towards another energetic connection, because you want to make sure that the energetic connection is one that amplifies bliss and not energetic drama, right? So we see even now that for a lot of that energy, I can see some of the energy being like looking back at the past experience and being like, yeah, it was just too dramatic. Like it was just too dramatic, because I told you when things are like this, like like masculine coming out of something feeling like tempest tossed, feminine coming out of something and being like, I don't feel like engaging in a tug of war when I'm trying to go for a walk. Instead of the feminine, it's like, I'm trying to go for a walk, and the person I'm walking with is trying to do tug of war. We're not getting anywhere, right? And masculine saying, if I'm just trying to like sail through towards manifestation goals with feminine, but the emotionality is such that it's like this, it makes it really hard to move towards our manifestation goals. So we see even now that a lot of this energy working in this capacity right now, this is the energy that builds conscientiously and carefully, because they keep a very careful circle. They keep a lot of prioritization on energetic connections that amplify bliss and not energetic drama. Continuing to get clarification between our Eight of Cups in its reversal in combination with our King of Pentacles in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Ace of Wands in its upright. Now, masculine and feminine energy, and this is why deep within, like in separation right now, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. I actually like this because this is the energy that's saying in separation, I'd rather channel that energetic drama into creativity. I'd rather channel that energetic drama into communication. I'd rather channel that into passion. This is a lot of the energy right now in separation. There's a lot of creativity. This Scorpio season's coming in hot, man. This Scorpio season's coming in hot. I'm just going to say it. But I have to say, what's interesting about it is there's a lot of energy right now walking away from things in separation and being like, like a lot of this type of energy here, but moving forward in such a way of navigating, like, look at all of this passion. Look at all of this prioritization. This is energy right now in separation that is prioritizing happiness, passion, and bliss. And what do they feel like they're leaving behind? Blockages, overwhelm, right? This is a lot of that energy. I can see the energy being like, it can just be easy. It could just be easy. It could just be fun. It could just be nice. And I don't mean that in a way. I need to stress this. This isn't the energy that says I'm looking for something that doesn't matter. This is the energy that says I'm moving in energetic connection with energy that gets it. I'm moving in energetic connection that we're moving in the same direction. And this is the energy that understands in separation that when something's moving in the same direction of you, it feels effortless and it feels fluid because it's the nature of the energetic connection. You can't fake it. Sometimes the best you can do is recognize if it's not that, right? Moving towards manifestation goals is often just identifying what the manifestation goal is not. And so a lot of that energy is identifying that to a certain extent. I need to stress this again. This is not energy that is not afraid to get their hands dirty. But this is the energy that says, if I'm getting my hands dirty, I better feel like we're doing the same project. I want to make sure we're doing the same assignment. Like I want to make sure that we're doing the same thing when we do that work. And this is what's happening for the energy right now that's coming into divine union. This is the energy that prioritizes and had that conviction, right? Like this is the conviction that says if we desire, and this is why this energy is feeling a little bit of a windfall right now coming into divine union, because if this is the energy that, really took different approaches to solving an energetic problem, that said, look, I know that this is a limitation of mine. I'm going to work on it. I'm not just going to say I'm going to work on this. This is what I'm doing. Like this is the energy that's having those breakthroughs, supporting each other on the way. And what happens when you have a breakthrough like that? Well, anything is possible as long as you're prioritizing. This is the energy that recognizes that sometimes the way something works is you say, we're going to make it work, right? So like that's your manifestation of articulating and saying, we're going to make it work is it's not an if, it is a will. There's a lot of that energy here that says that they're seeing the fact that their will is paving the way, right? While for masculine and feminine energy deep within divine union right now, I feel like a lot of that energy that has to be navigated in managing expectations right now, the reason I see that there's so many frustrations that are evident there is the recognition point. I see even now that a lot of that energy deep within divine union, it can be really painful when you have those modalities and you're feeling a lot of energetic harmony and those around you don't perceive it as same, right? I can just see even now that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, navigating that territory, and healing from the past to a certain degree, of desiring the best, not only for yourself, but those around you, a lot of that amplification point of frustration that one experiences, I see even now a lot of that energy deep within divine union, giving each other support on that energetic journey and re-amplifying one's own commitment to doing the best that one can, even in the wake or in the face of situations and circumstances that, and I told you even now, just kind of require, I want to say, I see a lot of the energy within divine union almost like taking a gentle hand to things and basically saying, because what else can you do when you're trying to operate, to navigate in a space that there's a hurdle, I just kind of see that there, a lot of this energy kind of keeping one's own prioritization point in moving in a space that feels productive and positive, even in the wake of circumstances or situations that feel more frustrating or triggering, right? continuing to get clarification between our King of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Ten of Cups in its upright. So this is where we're going to talk a little bit about the masculine energy right now, because we've got all that masculine reversal right here that we want to discuss. Look who's back again. If this card looks familiar, this is the card that we ended our reading on yesterday. So we've got a lot of connection points that we see are occurring right now between yesterday's reading and today. We've got here our Two of Swords and it's upright again. You know, balance. You know, I got to stress this. This is a challenge for Scorpio season. We're just gonna talk about it. We're just gonna talk about it because here's the thing with Scorpio season. Scorpio, it's got that little stinger, in the back of their, like right behind them, right? Just hanging out there, right? And we talked about this. We had this conversation, right? We had this conversation with the Libra cycle. What was the message that was coming through in the Libra cycle? The conversation that was occurring during the Libra cycle was one of saying, remembering the difference between I have a right to versus I know what is right. Doing what feels like you could find a way forward upon that moves you out of intention versus following your intention regardless. So we see even now that for some of the energy right now, that sense or that space of feeling energetically triggered, but just effectively moving in that state of building into a point of balance, just building into a point of stillness. This is a lot of the energy right now. I told you, working through that redistribution point, which is characteristic of looking towards something in a way and saying, you know, these are the things one could do or not. Like, it's like, I just see a lot of this energy being like taking something that would have triggered in the past and moving it into a space of just kind of like, I want to say reabsorbing it, if you will. Like, this is a lot of the energy. This is a lot of the energy, just taking something and going, I'm just, you know, like a little bit of that, like just kind of like, just letting it kind of go back within, like just bringing it back within. Like so much of this here is like, and this is I told you, this is a bit of that Aries full moon energy, which is like, like that, like it's a lot of that right now. It's a lot of, you know, like that momentary thing. Because why the energy deep within divine union right now is prioritizing what feels like it's moving them towards their manifestation goals. So when something is frustrating, what you do is you feel the frustration, you go, I don't have time for it. I don't have time for it. You just back off on it. You just back off. You just let you, because you go, you know, it's not, it goes, because then you say, you know, it doesn't, you ask yourself, you know, what does it bring forth, right? So we see that that's going to be a lot of that challenging energy right now during Scorpio can sometimes feel like a little bit of that, book, 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 like those little, you know? So make sure that you're not reacting to situations or circumstances like that. You know, let it be an observational point instead of a reactive one. Because when you look at something, you go, that's curious. Like when you look at something and you go, like, you know, when you have those moments of just kind of looking at something and observing and recognizing, you know, that ability of doing so, there's a lot of clarity, right? So we see even now that a lot of that energy deep within divine union is working forward in that space and taking and like, you know, navigating that modality of observing. And I think that this is the thing that's important, recognizing how much you've changed in what effectively bothers you. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, congratulations. I mean, for a lot of the energy coming into divine union right now, these cards are beautiful, but, and I mean this in like a gentle way, I feel like some of the energy right now coming into divine union is having some of these breakthroughs that are articulated and being like, wow, I was really standing in my own way, right? And what I mean by that sense of standing in one's own way is, recognizing that harmony isn't something that is found, but is something that is created. This is a lot of the energy right now, moving into divine union, doing really hard work in terms of communication or holding patience. For masculine, it's communicating things that one would typically not communicate. Bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For feminine, I want to say it's doing a lot of this work in relationality to holding patience. For masculine, that's showing the difference between like actively learning to do something versus asking you to wait for something. It feels good, but it also feels difficult. While for masculine and feminine in separation right now, this is some energy in separation that's just kind of vibing right now. I see some energy in separation right now that's just prioritizing their peace. They're prioritizing their positivity. And it's not the fact that this is the energy that's still feeling some frustration about the past, but this is the energy that is focusing and reorienting in separation on their manifestation goals. And this is how that energy is healing from the past, because if there's a modality of feeling frustration in an energetic connection, I just see a lot of that energy saying, I need to focus on the manifestation goal. And I need someone that also is moving in that same energetic direction. This is the energy in separation that doesn't have time to waste. Like, there's no side quest energy here. This is an energy in separation that feels like they want to go on an energetic side quest with someone. This is the energy in separation that's just like, I know what my manifestation goal is, and I want to build with someone that has the same energy as I do. And when you're moving towards something with someone that has the same manifestation goal, like, again, masculine saying, I know that's not going to feel like a rough water, and feminine saying, I know that's not going to feel like a tug of war. Continuing to get clarification between our 10 of Cups in combination with our 5 of Swords in its reversal and the 5 of Wands in its reversal. These two cards together are very powerful. Double peace there. Peace in the perception of the past. One card to clarify. Clarification coming through right now with our Empress card in its reversal. So these combinations, I told you, it's a little uncomfortable right now. It's a lot of this shift into Scorpio season, and it's having a different impact on masculine and feminine. Bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Masculine is feeling more frustrated by tangible limitations. Masculine's getting frustrated in the tangible space. Masculine wants problems that they can energetically solve. Masculine is running around right now with a hammer looking for something to nail with it. Feminine is feeling more of a feeling of energetic frustration in relationality to meeting the needs of others in comparison with the needs of the self right now. And that's why I see even now a lot of that energy of the feminine, remembering that prioritizing the self should not feel oppositional or antithetical to the energy around them. Like, and I can see even now, like, having that point of compassion, like for feminine, like some of the feminine right now is feeling, I want to say, underappreciated to a certain extent. So, and this, this could be a little bit difficult. Making sure that you're not reacting to how you feel, but articulating upon it. And for the energy in separation right now, the thing I'm seeing is, and this is a lot of the feminine energy, and this is what I meant about coming in hot in separation right now. This is a lot of the feminine energy in separation looking at something in separation in a different way, and feeling the appreciation of letting go of the past, because now the feminine is looking at something in the past and saying, that was not a place I was appreciated. That was not a place that I was seen. And so for a lot of that feminine energy in separation right now, that accepting point of the difference between the feminine desiring energetic love and feeling energetic love. This is a lot of that work that we're seeing right now of the feminine that is remembering in separation and saying to oneself that one's capacity to fix something can only be, it's not the sole responsibility of the feminine energy to be in that space of being able to energetically fix something. Like I see, that's what I mean. Like I see a lot of this feminine energy in separation, articulating that and being conscientious. And this is why I see even now, what's difficult about this is I see a lot of feminine energy potentially building into a new energetic connection with masculine to such an extent that they would love to rush forward into it. Like I see a lot of this feminine energy being like, I would love nothing more would like nothing would like nothing more would be would like I would love to do so, but this is the feminine that's holding themselves back to a certain extent. Why is the feminine energy in separation holding themselves back? Because they have to be conscientious about making sure that the energy wants the same things that they want. This is the feminine energy that is not letting their own desire drive them forward. Do you see this? This is the feminine energy working on controlling their energetic desire, making sure that there's alignment first, right? So this is like almost like that intentional slowing of down of things. Masculine right now, what we see is a lot of this energy of the masculine understanding and recognizing this as well. You know, I can see a lot of that masculine in separation looking towards feminine and potentially saying like, you know, I understand why there is that desire to move energy. Like, you know, I understand why there is that desire to move energetically slow is the articulation of the energy that basically says, I can be patient for you, because this is the masculine basically saying to the feminine, you know, I don't want to move you faster than you yourself feel comfortable with, right? So I see even now, there's a lot of plans here I'm potentially seeing that are occurring right now for energy and separation. And there's a little, I want to say, there's a little bit of push and pull here between masculine and feminine. But I need to stress this. This isn't the push and pull and separation of energy trying to tug each other in different directions. This is energy that's trying to run ahead in the same direction, but they're being very conscientious of one another along the way, which is a different thing. While for masculine and feminine, they're being very conscientious of one another along the way, which is a different thing. While for masculine and feminine energy, for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is coming into divine union. So much of this energy right now coming into divine union is being articulated upon. I'm just seeing here, this is the energy. I feel like there's apologies here. I see it even now. Like this is saying to me, there's energy coming into divine union. That's something in relationality to this breakthrough that's happening. Masculine potentially seeing, like, working on that space of communicating to feminine to a certain extent. I even see, like, that's a lot of that energy there that, you know, articulates in such a way that I see a lot of the energy of both masculine and feminine seeing something in a way that they haven't before. And it's in that moment or that modality of seeing something that they haven't before that I see that that energy is creating that context through which a lot of restoration is happening, because they're becoming clearer mirrors for one another, right? When we remove the drama, right? When we remove the drama from our partnerships, we become clearer mirrors for one another. That's the gift that we provide one another. And I'm almost seeing here that for so much of that energy right now, coming into divine union, that ability of doing so, this is the energy that feels like they're seeing one another more clearly than they ever have before. And that's what I mean about the work that is difficult, but also feels like it's paying off because of that transparency and clarity that is happening via the communication. While for masculine and feminine right now, deep within divine union, a lot of this energy that I'm seeing right now is the amplification and articulation in relationality to what one feels one can effectively change versus what one just needs to move away from, right? And I see that this is having a different impact right now on masculine and feminine. Feminine energy right now, prioritizing their peace. I just see right now the feminine energy prioritizing their peace and moving at the pace that they feel is comfortable for that energetic peace. Masculine is moving more in that state or space within divine union of just looking to where they can best utilize and put their energy right now. Because masculine, I see even now, a lot of things happening. Like this is actually the masculine right now, feeling like there's a lot of different things to be able to do and being able to prioritize what to do them. So we see even now, feminine moving slower, masculine moving more quickly. Continuing to get clarification between our Three of Cups in combination with our Ace of Wands in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with High Priestess energy in its upright. Thank goodness. We've had this card in its upright the last 2 days. It's been in our spread for the last 3 days. Now, masculine and feminine energy deep within divine union. This is just, I want to say right now, this is feminine keeping the tightest of circles. Like, I want to see this. I just see even now, this is feminine keeping like the energetically tightest of circles to a certain extent. Why? Because this is a lot of the energy of feminine right now. I told you, this has to do with the fact that the feminine is feeling frustrated in relationality to energy that comes towards feminine, wanting them to fulfill different roles for them, right? Like a lot of that sense, I almost feel like there's a lot of the feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, almost saying to others, like, I think you might have me mistaken for someone else. Like there's a little bit of that energy here. Like, I see a lot of this energy of the feminine in divine union going, I think you might have me mistaken for someone else, because I see even now that there's like, do you see this? Do you see this? Do you see these two cards together? There's a lot of this energy of the feminine that basically says, I'm extremely available to those who come towards like me in the way that one like should. Like, this is a lot of that energy that says, that's moving in alignment with their higher self to a certain extent. That says, like, if you approach the higher self, like this is feminine deep within divine union going, if you approach the higher self, all things are possible. But be mindful in relationality to how that occurs. Because I see even now, like, so much of that work that's happening here. This is a lot of that energy that like almost articulates and identifies that to a certain extent. And I appreciate the fact that we see even here that for a lot of that feminine doing so, there's a lot of that like there's a lot of that slowing down to a certain extent. Not necessarily being energetically reactive, but almost coming into that state or space of identifying and recognizing those that the feminine feel truly know the feminine. And so this is the feminine energy that's feeling secure not only in the state of identifying and knowing and recognizing who they are, but knowing that there are those around them that similarly recognize them in that same perception that they hold towards themselves. While for masculine energy right now, this is masculine energy kind of supporting feminine in that way. I see this even now. Like I feel like masculine being appreciative of the self, and also if this is masculine that feels that frustration in relationality to doing things, this is a lot of the masculine having a lot of that energetic support around them in the process of telling, like, of the masculine feeling that sense of security and stability in the energy that reaffirms to them their own ability to do things and to get things done. Like I just see this even now. Like this is a lot of the masculine right now, working tirelessly and making sure to prioritize rest in the process. While for masculine energy coming into divine union right now, this is I want to say that for some of the energy of masculine coming into divine union right now, it does feel energetically, I see this even now. There's a little bit of this masculine energy coming into divine union, navigating what brought on some of these breakthroughs that they're having. Because I'm just seeing even now that this is the masculine that recognizes that they're both showing up in ways that they never have before in an energetic connection, right? While at the same time, I see a lot of that masculine energy coming into divine union that recognizes that they also feel secure and safe enough to do so. Right? And so I can see that this is a little bit of the masculine energy coming into divine union, having a little bit of that like chicken and egg debate with themselves in relationality as to that journey. Was that journey inspired by the energetic counterpart, or was it the masculine energy at the arrival of the self? And the answer is yes. Right? You are everywhere you need to be, right on time. Like we've been saying this, like masculine energy, if you're going through that journey, you are where you need to be when you need to be there. So that journey is one that's both internal and also external. So we see even now like a lot of that energy of masculine feeling like they're coming into that state of of alignment within the self, and feminine in the same process here. Feminine going through that same ability of doing so, and recognizing that a lot of that work is them coming into that state or space of emotional balance as well. Now, for masculine and feminine energy in separation right now, I see a lot of this energy right now trusting the process. The thing about this right now is this is feminine energy holding themselves back in separation. I just see it even now. There's a lot of this feminine energy right now in separation that would love to move towards masculine with a lot more vitality, but wisdom is interfering and holding them back, because this is the masculine energy that's saying, I'd rather be in that space of making sure that we're in alignment prior to opening up in such a way that we build into the context of creating like a physical or passionate bond. So I see even now like a lot of that feminine energy kind of like channeling, like welcome to Scorpio season, like channeling a lot of that passion into patience. Masculine potentially recognize and identifying this too. And I see a lot of the masculine energy in this modality right now, identifying and saying to themselves, like holding themselves back to a certain extent. Because this is the masculine that's not looking for quantity, they're looking for quality. This is the masculine energy that's not looking for a lot of energetic connections. They're looking for the right energetic connection. Continuing to get clarification between our Ace of Wands in combination with our Two of Swords in its upright. One card to clarify. Clarification coming through right now with our Four of Cups in its reversal. This even here, I keep seeing it, a lot of this energy right now in that modality saying I can take it or leave it. I know what I'm looking for, but I'm not seeking it. You know, like this isn't energy that's like chasing all over the place looking for partnership right now. Both of these energies have got other things to deal with. Both of these energies are basically pursuing their passion. And I see that with so much of that energetic counterpart energy here, there are some new energetic connections that are forming. And the thing that I'm seeing that is amplifying it is the easement, is the comfortability. Right? Like something that feels like it doesn't feel forced because these are energies that are moving towards one another in very casual ways. Like with a lot of that, I just want to say like a lot of that like not feeling, I want to say not feeling like something is going to get away from something, because this is the energy saying when something is for you, you can't energetically miss it, right? For masculine and feminine coming into divine union right now, I'm just seeing that a lot of this energy coming into divine union is taking different approaches, and it's hard. And this is the energy that may have even felt doubtful in taking some of those approaches, and now they're reconsidering that doubtfulness they had on those approaches because they're seeing that it's having a positive impact. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, a lot of this work that I'm seeing is occurring right now, deep within divine union. I feel like this is the energy that's making the choices that are necessary. And that's why I see even now, if there is conflict that is arising from energy having to make necessary choices, you can see the fact that the energy is kind of like, like that's why I see even now, if that's that situation of someone taking something personally in that way, I can almost see that so much of this energy is prioritizing and the adaptability and the recognition of keeping an open mind to the possibilities going forward. Because I see even now that for so much of this energy right now, in divine union, there's something that needs to be amplified in relationality to patience. Like the energy, like feeling that sense of patience, not taking something personally, because this is the energy that, again, avoids drama. And when someone takes something energetically personally, it feels like they're overly internalizing something that is energetically happening outside of the self. So we see even now that ability of doing so, like I can see the energy when they encounter it kind of being like you can't move someone out of that. You just observe that it's occurring. And I can see that some of the energy might be going through some conflict spaces in reorienting someone's perception of something in a way, to give them a sense of how someone else might, consider it, or how someone else might perceive it. But I see even there, that's the energy doing so in a gentle way to help someone with their own sense of adaptability. Continuing to get clarification between our Two of Swords in its upright in combination with our Empress card in its reversal. Clarification coming through right now with our Four of Swords in its upright. Now we've got double fives today, and we've got double fours. So, I gotta say, a lot of this energy here that is occurring in relationality to the perception of the past. And I almost see like a lot of clarity potentially that is occurring in relation now, especially for the energy right now, deep within divine union, in giving or providing clarity of context to someone in relationality to how they might be experiencing something versus how like one's own self experienced it, right? And this is what I meant about that ability, the gift we give someone of our own perception, right? So I just see even now some of that energy here, like navigating forward and showing someone else their energetic patterns, but not in a way that it feels like it's harmful. Almost saying, can you recognize that you have that energetic tendency? Can you see that there's something there that feels like it's energetically repeating? Because we see that for so much of that ability of doing so, it's not, they're saying to me, like, it's not the fact that like the energy deep within divine union works very hard to identify their own patterns, right? Because patterns are not necessarily a bad thing, right? You can have really good patterns. Like, we call that practice. We call like that, that's the work that we do, that feels like it's fortifying. So, that tendency of doing so, that point of correction here, I feel like this is how some of that energy is channeling that frustration of Scorpio season into a space of positivity. Because rather than matching someone energetically, if someone does something that feels like it's more frustrating, utilizing that and bringing like a degree of clarity to something instead, that is a lot of the gift that the Scorpio can provide in relationality to instead of coming into that space of trying to, create more energetic frustration or harm, but instead, and this is what we talk about, because like we want to talk about the fact that like the Scorpio has poison, but like poison can heal, right? You can take something that is difficult and you can make it something that heals. Right? So this is taking something and navigating something that may require, like they're saying, like the bitter pill to swallow, because it's helping someone see something in a way that helps them, even if it's energetically hard to receive, right? That is often the ability to give someone a gift, because that is the context of saying, giving someone a gift and saying, I'm not giving this to you because it's easy. I'm giving it to you because I know that it may potentially help you going forward, right? That's a lot of heaviness, right? That's a lot of energetic unpacking. That is what's happening for the energy that is coming into divine union. Because for the energy coming into divine union, that observation of the tendency of something that you may have been doing with the best of intentions, but was harming the energetic connection, it's in the moment that you observe it that you can utilize that power to heal. So we see even now, like a lot of that energy, feeling the inclination to follow into uphold an old habit or an old pattern, and then coming into a pause point. This is the energy that's healing themselves in the process of building into an energetic connection. While for masculine and feminine energy and separation right now, can't heal what someone doesn't feel needs to be healed. Can't fix something that someone doesn't want to fix. If you try to give medicine to someone that doesn't want to take it, they're going to act like it's poison. So we see even now like a lot of that energy here, that ability of navigating that. This is a lot of the energy potentially building into those connections, articulating those experiences of saying, I had to move away from something energetically because I knew that there was something that we could do that could fix it. But if someone doesn't want to do that energetic work, then there's nothing that can be done, because there's no healing that you can bring forth to something that someone doesn't want to take, because they won't see it as something that is restorative. They'll feel like it's something that's destabilizing. So this is a lot of that energy that's kind of making peace with those experiences of the past. And it's frustrating because some of that energy says, oh no, there was definitely a solution to that energetic problem. There was definitely something that could have been done. But if they didn't want to do it, can't do anything, right? That's hard and it's heavy, but this is how the energy is healing in the process. Continuing to get clarification between our High Priestess in combination with our Four of Cups in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification with, I like this. There's a lot of peace here. There's a lot of peace here. Particularly for Scorpio season, this is a lot of letting go. This is a lot of making peace with things energetically right now. And I see, like, it is having a different impact on masculine and feminine energy. Feminine energy in separation going, I can hear a lot of the feminine energy in separation saying the right thing to do isn't always the easy thing to do, right? Like, the right thing to do isn't necessarily the easy thing to do. And there's a lot of that energy of feminine that says there's a difference between letting go of something because one desires to let go versus saying, I had no choice. I had no choice, right? I can see a lot of that energy of the feminine feeling that energetic exhaustion to a certain extent in the frustration. But what is the feminine energy doing right now and articulating why they're moving slowly into new energetic connections? This is the feminine energy saying, I couldn't do anything in those past situations except tell myself I would never energetically let it happen again. Right? This is how the feminine energy is healing something here. This is how the feminine energy is healing it. Because this is the feminine energy saying, I am healing it. Because in my modality of experiencing something with masculine and reaffirming my own commitment of saying, I'm not going to allow that to happen again. This is the feminine energy that feels like they're bringing healing towards a circumstance or situation via their own ability to learn from it, right? While for masculine energy right now, this is a lot of the masculine energy that's working through the same exact context of the masculine saying, that ability of recognizing and identifying and desiring to build forth, requiring the feminine to be in that experience of being able to be energetically balanced, working through that. That's a lot of the masculine that feels frustrated, potentially letting go of energetic connection, being like saying to themselves, the day may come when that energetic connection finds that point of balance. The day may come that they rise into that space. And that's a masculine healing and saying that could be tomorrow or that could be never. That could be tomorrow or that could be never. And so we see even now that's a lot of the masculine that's also in the process of healing. And both of these energies in separation, what are they doing? Accepting the circumstances as they find them and moving forward. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now, this is the energy that had the mutual conviction of fixing what needed to be fixed and willing to do the work on the self in the process. This is a lot of the energy right now working through a lot of that process. It's not easy. It's requiring a lot of changes. Feminine building into a point of patience. Masculine building into a point of being able to be more open in relationality to the internalized self and expressing it to the feminine. But they're seeing those breakthroughs. While for masculine and feminine energy deep within divine union right now, I see a lot of this energy deep within divine union that is recognizing how far they've come, because something that would have energetically devastated them in the past, I almost like it feels like the energy looks at something from a distance. It's not the fact, I can almost hear some energy right now going through circumstances and being like something that would have hurt them. I almost feel the energy saying, like, I just feel very far away from it. Like, I almost feel like I can almost see that energy, like feeling some kind of pain for like the past version of self that would have this is energy like holding the past version of self and almost looking and being like, yeah, that would have really bothered them. Like, I can see the energy almost saying to themselves, that really would have bothered me, but that me being them, because this is the energy looking at something that feels like it would have wounded the past version of self, and it doesn't. That is the amplification in relationality to how far the energy has come, right? Like, they're almost looking at that past version being like, oh yeah, that was for them. Like, that would have really impacted them. That would have really devastated them. But that in its space, I almost see this is how the energy is coming into that place of healing. Because I feel like there's a lot of this like reintroduction energy that I'm seeing right now for energy deep within divine union. Like almost coming into that space of being like, yes, you know, like, and that's what I mean about that energy holding like a very energetically tight circle right now, because this is the energy that recognizes how much they've changed. And at the same time, like that change to a certain extent is the amplification of like the Scorpio energy is embracing transformation. And that's the transformation of the self and the observation in how much you have changed. Continuing to get clarification between our Four of Cups in its reversal and our Four of Swords in its upright. So we've got our double four energy here. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Knight of Wands in its upright. A lot of passion today. I'm not surprised to see it. It's Scorpio season. It's going to get a little spicy. It's going to get a little spicy. I think what's interesting for the energy within divine union is there's a lot of the energy within divine union being like, this is where we keep the spice cabinet. No. The spice does not go there. This is where the spice cabinet is. The spice cabinet stays there. Like, this is a lot of that energy. And that's why I see that there may be a little bit of this like correction point, because I'm seeing that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, if someone comes towards you in a way that feels like they're giving you spice, in a way that you're like, excuse me, no, the spice doesn't go there. The spice doesn't, no, you must have gotten mistaken. This is not where you put the spice. You put the spice over there. Like a little bit of that energy in moving. I see like moving the spice is what I'm getting. Putting that like drama into a space that it's supposed to go in. Masculine channeling it right now in creative ways is what I'm really seeing, because I feel like a lot of the masculine is feeling that frustration and being able to put it somewhere tangibly. A lot of creativity, a lot of communication today. Feminine, a lot of correction. Like I have a little bit of this spice, like feminine's embodying, like be a little conscientious. Feminine's embodying the spice a little bit today. And the thing about it is it feels like the spice coming from the higher version of feminine. Like this feels like the spice that's coming from the higher version of feminine, which is interesting. So this is what I mean. This isn't feminine being this. I need to stress this. This isn't feminine being energetically like petty to a certain extent. I told you, this is feminine navigating something in a way and saying, now I can be perfectly honest about something. Like I can see feminine being like, I want to be honest about something for a minute, and having a little bit of that honesty being like, I'm telling you this for your own good kind of energy. Like a lot of that kind of it's like mess around and find the beautiful abundance of education that one will then be received in the context of messing with feminine. Like it's a little bit of that type of energy today. While for masculine and feminine energy, coming into divine union, I just see a lot of this energy coming into divine union, and this is beautiful, because I feel like this is energy that feels like they're reintroducing themselves to each other along the way, because they're able to be honest with one another in ways that they haven't before. Right? It does feel like a reintroduction to a certain extent. I almost see that this energy is in that space of saying, I never knew that. You never told me that. And someone being like, I never felt safe to tell you. And someone being like, I'm sorry I didn't make you feel safe. This is where all these apologies are coming from. Like there's it feels like a little bit of like I told you, channels are opening right now for a lot of the energy that's been putting their conviction into creating clear channels between themselves. While for masculine and feminine in separation right now, look at these two. These two right now, we've got these energies in separation being like, I wanna, I can't, I shouldn't, I wanna, I shouldn't, I wanna, I shouldn't. Like you see this even now, like masculine, there may be a lot of communication that's occurring today. I told you last few days, not communication. Now there's communication. And feminine holding themselves to a certain extent, like in that place of like trying to come into alignment of the higher self, because it's all this Scorpio energy. It's all that passion rising up, right? But the passion, I'm telling you, like that passion is like, it's clearing the brush. Like it's clearing the brush of the past. It's creating a lot of clarity. Final card for today's spread, between our Six of Swords in its reversal in combination with our Knight of Wands in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Judgment in its reversal. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now that is in separation. This is all about the different perspective. I just see even now, this is a lot of energy. There's communication happening right now in separation it's giving reconsideration on something. It's giving like that moment of observation through which one is seeing something in a different way. And what I like about this for the energy in separation is it feels like some of that ability to see something in a different way is allowing for closure on the past. It really is. I just see a lot of this energy like working through this to a certain extent, and just having that consideration. Like I can hear energy in separation going, I never thought of it that way. Or I didn't see it that way when I was within it. Like a lot of that work in seeing something, this is the conscientiousness. This is the energy that wants to move forward with one another right now. And they're feeling, I need to stress this. This is not the energy that's feeling the push and pull of someone trying to move you in a direction that's oppositional to the one that you're going in. This is energy encountering one another at this time, feeling that sense of wanting the same things, but then feeling the anxiety of rushing a process because you recognize that as you move forward, you can't go back to where you are now. So this is a little bit of this energy, like enjoying like a little bit of this like energetic sweet spot of kind of liking where something is, but wanting more, but also not wanting to rush something. So there's welcome to Scorpio season. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, coming into divine union, this is the energy seeing something in a different way. This is energy doing something. When you do something in a different way, you see something in a different way. When you do something in a different way, you see something in a different way. So what is happening right now for the energy coming into divine union? The conviction to hold together and build into the context of the partnership, come what may, doing something in a different way that's creating the ability to see something in a different way, and it's making a massive difference. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is deep within divine union, I see even now a lot of that energy in that modality of, I want to say, appreciating and recognizing how far you have come. Because I see even now something that would have like I keep seeing something that would have like completely like gobsmacked you, like almost like not even like huh, like what, like not necessarily being of that much of a great concern, because this is the energy right now that is already in such a place of energetic change that their own ability of prioritizing, I see a lot of the energy saying, I can't get distracted right now. Like, like this is the energy being like, I like, it's like when something feels like it's, like I see something that would have been dramatic just feeling distracting and being like, I don't even have time for that. You know what I mean? Like just kind of like moving away from something in that way, because the energy is just in such a space of just like focusing and doing what one needs to do at this time. And this is that energy that's like, I can see the energy within divine union saying, I don't have time to try to figure out something energetically confusing. I just need, I'm because that's what we talk about with spaces of energetic drama. It's like trying to get to the bottom of something is exhaustive. This is the energy being like, I've got to, like, I'm prioritizing, I'm doing what I need to do right now. And here for masculine, this is actually a creativity moment. I see a lot of the masculine right now having a lot of, like, potentially even returning back to creative endeavors in some way. There's like a little bit of this energy here. It's like, it's nice because it's like regressing, but it's positive regressing for masculine right now. This is like child stuff, but like in a positive way. Like I see masculine almost returning back to something they love in a new way. For feminine, this is a lot of the feminine just recognizing and feeling very much in alignment with their highest version of self. Like I see feminine being like, highest version of self, take the wheel today. You know what I mean? Like everybody's talking to the highest version of self to feminine right now. And if that's the energy of someone that comes towards feminine in a way that they're not addressing feminine's highest version of self, I almost see feminine being like, I'm sorry, you must be talking to the wrong person. I'm sorry. Are you in the right place? Are you sure you're talking to me? Like there's a little bit of that energy here. Bottom of the deck on this reading right now, particularly with the Two of Cups in its reversal. Like a lot of this energy here with the Two of Cups in its reversal. There's a lot of change, like I told you, there's a lot of energetic change that's happening right now. And a lot of that energetic change has to do with the quality of energetic connections. And I see even now, this is having a different impact across the frequencies, but it's on all the frequencies. Now, masculine and feminine, deep within divine union, like this is what I meant in relationality to someone coming towards you in a way of not necessarily recognizing and appreciating like what that should look like or how one should, right? And I need to stress this, like when we hold ourselves to a high energetic standard, that's a standard that we bring to others as well. Like that's a gift we give others, but also we calibrate based upon and built upon like how that is energetically received to a certain extent. So I just see even now that for a lot of the energy navigating in that territory, this is why this is why the energy does not feel bothered. If, like, this isn't, I need to point this out, this isn't energy trying to match someone's energy if they come towards them in a way that feels like it's not in alignment. This is the energy that articulates and defines to a certain extent and says that compassion that they give out to others, they require it back in kind, right? Like that's why the energy doesn't feel like frustrated. They let that become educational, but that's also the modality wherein we recognize and identify that the energy is almost doing so and saying, I'm asking you to meet me at my level, right? And when you ask someone to meet you at your level, like that sense or that space is saying, I want you to bring the courtesy that I bring to you back to me in kind, right? So we see even there that that's the energy that says, make it easier to facilitate that, because if not, I'm going to step away from it. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now, so much of this work that we're effectively or energetically seeing to a certain extent is the amplification of the energy recognizing how they may have stood in one another, like in each other's way. And what's hard about that is this is energy that is healing in the partnership in the present, and it is recontextualizing all of those experiences in the past wherein they may not have identified those hurdles in the first place. And so that's difficult because this is energy that's like doing the dual path work of healing in the present, but also seeing the past in a different way in the process. While for masculine and feminine energy in separation right now, can't heal, like this is more of the same. Can't fix what someone else doesn't think is broken. can't heal when another person doesn't feel it needs to be healed. And what's difficult for a lot of that energy and separation moving forward in that way, this is the energy that always recognizes that day may come. That day may come where someone in the past recognizes and identifies what that internal energetic hurdle is, right? But this is a lot of the energy that reaffirms that commitment to the self in terms of saying that could be tomorrow or that could be never. That could be in an hour or it could be forever. So this is the energy that does not build into an energetic connection based upon the potentiality of what someone could become, but rather inhabiting the understanding and the recognition of the reality of what is. That's difficult, but it also allows for breakthroughs, because that's the energy that inhabits the present moment and doesn't build upon the fantasy of what they desire from someone, but rather the reality that they receive from them in the present context. That is where we find all of the energy prior to beginning today's daily collective. That is our daily collective energy update for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and receiving it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. My private readings are done over video, and if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber name at the point of payment. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you would like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. Also, I want to let you guys know a couple of updates before we move into personal readings for today. Thank you to everyone who attended our lovers class. Our next tarot class will be held on Wednesday, November 13th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Chariot card. Cannot wait to teach this class. If you would like to become a part of our class program, all you need to do is head over to my Substack, graystrega.substack.com. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket to each month's live classes. You'll also have access to the full repository of class recordings and materials of our previous classes. So when you join, you'll already have about 7 hours worth of classwork to catch up on. It's not necessary to catch up for our next class. I will be giving recaps in each class, but it's there when you're ready for it. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions you may have in relationality to anything that we've learned thus far. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you will also receive a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, wherein we will assess where you are on your particular tarot journey, and I will give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes and your personal study to the best of your advantage going forward. If you are a subscriber here on TikTok, make sure that you head over to our subscriber-only Discord channel. You will find an additional perk there that will give you a higher discount to those classes. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. So I want to thank you if you're already joining us there, and I look forward to seeing you at our next class. But even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, please be sure to follow me there. That's where I post each day's full spread podcast, as well as the photo of today's spread. You'll also have access to my weekly newsletter, which lets you know about my in-person events and my live schedule each week. You'll also be notified as to our giveaway winners. Speaking of giveaways, we are rounding out. We are almost at the conclusion of our October giveaway. Have you entered yet? If you would like to win a private tarot reading with me, head over to the link tree in my bio. There is a 2-minute travel survey there. Filling out that travel survey will grant you an entry into the giveaway. But if you would like to increase your chances of winning, go ahead and forward that survey to a friend, because when I pull the winner, I'll be gifting a reading not only to the person that wins, but also to the person that referred them. So thank you if you've already entered, and I wish you the best of luck of winning this month. Finally, I want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are personalized classes for those who are seeking more one-on-one education with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason. Those classes can be focused on whatever area of personal growth or spiritual development you are most invested in learning more about. I take a very limited number of students for this reason. You can purchase those on an individual level or as a monthly class series, 4 45-minute courses, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Or for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your own personal tarot journey. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing with me in these messages, and we will do this again.